Alright guys, welcome to Star Stories. This is where we take your stories from the verse and read them out for our general entertainment. A quick note for privacy and to keep things drama free, names and orgs in these stories may be changed or kept anonymous. It's not about who did what, it's about the glorious chaos that we survived. If you have any stories you would like to send me, there's an email address in the description, as well as a link to social media and stuff like that. It can be any length, it can be about anything you like, as long as it happened in Star Citizen. And don't be shy, it's completely anonymous. It can be funny, interesting, something that blew you away, a series of unfortunate events. And spread this around. Send it to your org mates and discords and things like that so we can get more and more and more input. With all that out the way, let's get on with the show. Okay, here is our very first story. Good morning. Your channel is top tier entertainment, in my opinion, due to not just the content you choose to cover, but also your sublime delivery. Bravo, sir. Well, thank you very much, kind citizen. I feel like I have a mouthful of rocks half the time. And this is me using my posh phone voice, as anybody who's been in voice chat with me in the Discord will tell you. As soon as things kick off and the mask slips, that sublime delivery you mentioned evaporates very, very quickly indeed. You're a brave man asking a passionate SC audience for stories, but this is exactly what CIG needs to do to help sell the verse to potentially new SC players post Squadron 42 release. Yeah, I mean, that's one strat. Not gonna lie, Star Citizen community can be slightly unhinged at points, myself included. In fact, it's quite hard to see from a third perspective, but if CIG was to hire me, I'm guessing it would last about a week before they fired me. That marketing team has a lot to answer for. To put it mildly, you could say. Going back through my channel history, I don't think they would be too happy with me, to be honest. Anyway, this is my story to share. Of the many great memories I have in SC, I've blanked out the early years thanks to my excellent therapist. Yeah, you're not alone, dude. Some of us carry emotional damage from some of those patches, and that's what this show is about. I want to hear your repressed Star Citizen memories. We should probably just rename the show to Red's Therapy Sessions or something. I should probably start charging money, in fact. I bought the MISC TAC as early as possible as I was in love with its style and functionality. I loved the heavy feel to it and was slightly deflated by the review bombing it got shortly after, and I could feel the silent judgment as I cruised by other players in the community. Their voices whispered to me, "Whale and big ship, that he thinks makes him tough, but really, he's just a big fat piñata for my insert light fighter here." My friend, you're in good company. There will be a lot of people watching this who have their own sinful whale sins to confess. Still, its layout, heft and even the poor view all drew me in, but left me playing alone as even my 6 org mates weren't interested, no matter how much I told them it would be great if I could get it fully crewed. I continued to solo it around the verse and occasionally got trolled by light fighters I couldn't QT from when they had QT dampeners. All I could do was wait for my eventual, humiliating death by 1,000 size 1 shots. What, you mean you never deployed in the Fury, dude? Come on. You're playing the game wrong. Until one day my org mates were bored and their biggest ships were on cooldown and we only had 90 minutes to play, and I suggested we crewed my TAC. Reluctantly, and I think to finally shut me up, they agreed. With a Fury and a Storm 8A fully prepped in the hold, it was ready to rock and roll. Yeah, there's something to be said. I don't know what it is. There's this weird thing in Star Citizen where there's always one or two guys, or it's maybe just everybody, but everybody wants their ship to be the ship. Does that make sense? Is anybody else like that? Like, I feel slightly, not too much, but slightly against going on other people's ships. I'm like, nah, I'll take my FAC, it's fine. And they're like, no, come on a gunner seat, man, come be a gunner. And I'm like, no, that's fine. Too many eggs in one basket, you know, like, I don't know what it is. And you can tell they really want you on their ship as well. And every now and again, you just got to man that gun and let them have their moment in the hope that they do the same for you one day and let you just be the pilot or the captain or whatever. Strange as hell, but yeah, that's a real thing. A real phenomenon. We flew to a Hathor ground site. We had a Fury pilot, a Storm driver, a pilot and 3 gunners for the top turrets and the left hand side size 5s. Uh-oh. There's been a lot of prep work went in here. This isn't going to be one of those spend an hour getting everything together in the last 3 minutes, is it? We deployed the Fury from about 30 kilometers out to scout ahead, and then held off while our pilot gave us the news. And it was good news. Another small team was there trying to get some of the goodies from the ground. Unseen, he reported on a Hammerhead, crew size unknown, a Taurus, a Hurricane, and 2 Scorpius, one with the dampener and one without. Game on. We landed to deploy the Storm AA driver and gave him time to call when he was in position. The pieces were in place. Oh, this is brave right here. What do we think? Are these guys dead? I'm getting strong these guys are dead vibes. I don't know what the plan is here, but the Starlancer crew might be about to bite more than they can chew. We decided to use the TAC like a pirate ship of old, and I agreed to put all targets down the left hand side of the TAC so all guns could engage. Then we fly into the fight. The Storm AA opened up first as we crossed the 20 kilometer threshold and became a visible target to the small org. The Fury held back until we became engaged, as that was too much heat for the Fury on its own. The Fury pilot, who is an ex-RAF fighter pilot, would harass and confuse the group after we engaged, and was deadly. Okay. We didn't come to mess around. The Hammerhead attacked us first, and I think they sent it to intimidate us, but we both had twin size 3 shields, and they only had 4 gunners. We traded shots with them while the rest continued to mine. That was a mistake that cost them. The Hammerhead must have realised that he was in trouble and called in the Hurricane and the Scorpius to help. But while we maintained fire on the Hammerhead with 4 size 4s and 2 size 5s, the Fury and the AA distracted the damaged heavy fighters. The Hammerhead with significant damage fell back with a red hull. Oh yes! No way! It is all coming together nicely. Next up, the Taurus. The Taurus fell remarkably quickly to a combination of all of us, and that must have affected morale in the other team. It always impresses me how fast morale can collapse in PvP. You know, there's always a bit of silence after that first guy goes down. There's a bit of a tilt, you could say. My greater joy, however, was when the Scorpius engaged its dampener. And I thought of the moment when Rorschach from The Watchmen said, "To all the prison inmates, you think I am trapped in here with all of you, but what you don't realise is that you are trapped in here with me." Okay, we're an unhinged villain arc. I mean, you earned it though. You can have your 3.5 seconds of feeling powerful, your main character moment. This is normally where hubris enters the chat. That's fine, it's fine. There's probably going to be attacks on that, but it's fine. My ego cost us though. I knew it. I knew it. It was literally the next line. My ego cost us though, as I told crew to prioritise the Scorpius QT while the Hurricane continued to dismantle us. Oh, you never turn your back on a Hurricane, dude. Yeah, that's unfortunate. The Hammerhead had gone hunting for the Storm AA and destroyed him, and the Fury finally and valiantly fell to the other Scorpius, but was badly damaged. It joined the fight but fell quickly. Ultimately, we died a fiery death to the efforts of the Hurricane pilots, who flew well and proved too hard to get rounds on while flying in our low right hand and rear side. Our blind spot, basically. GG's all round and a momentous experience, as the TAC was recognised on the world stage. When fully crewed, this thing is a beast. If we had someone on rear missiles and on the right hand side size 5, we might, just might, have secured a victory. Elated, we all happily accepted, waking up back at Orison Med Centre, and we still talk about it to this day, hoping that one day, with armour and engineering completed, we can experience more multi-crew gameplay like this. Thanks for reading, Red, and good luck to you and your channel in the future. That was awesome, dude. That was awesome. That was honestly unexpected. When I read what you were up against there, I thought you guys were fucked. I'm not gonna lie. And that's really made me think twice about the tack, actually. And also that one guy that keeps trying to get me to go on the guns for it, and I keep saying no. I apologise. By the sounds of this, you've probably been right that whole time. And I'm just a dick. Okay, next one. Hi Red, sending a Star Citizen story per your request in the YouTube vids. I appreciate it truly, dude. It does take a bit of time on your behalf to sit and write all this out. Gather your thoughts on how it all transpired at the time. We don't mind a bit dramatic flourish. I'm actually really looking forward to this series. Now that the first few stories have came in, and I know I'm not the only one that likes the idea. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And this is exactly why we're doing this. It's such a massive game. There's so much going on in there that just never sees the light of day. And I want to try and capture that. Put it in a little bottle, put it on display for you guys. And hopefully it will encourage more people to share their stories. Okay, so this happened during that short period last year where the medical beacons were actually working. Ah, okay. The golden age, you mean. Do you remember that mythical time? That, I think it was about 11 minutes last year. The great medical renaissance. I'm sorry, go on. I kept checking the missions list for a medical mission all evening. And after hours I finally saw one pop up. I immediately accepted it, dropped everything and raced off in my Starlancer. The mission marker was leading me to one of the orbital laser platforms over Aberdeen, and I started realising that this was probably going to get hairy. Ah yes, Aberdeen. The PvP is a risky proposition for any frontline medic. I managed to get hold of the patient in chat, and he told me that he had fallen off one of the landing platforms of the stations and amazingly managed to hit one of those horizontal struts on his way down to the planet and got disabled by the damage from the impact. That is one lucky SOB right there. When I arrived, I saw the mission marker on one of the struts, AI fighters buzzing around. I knew this was a PvP hotspot. I did not want to stick around for too long, so I opened the rear ramp and just barely managed to set the ramp gently onto the narrow strut. Left the ship hovering with engines on. Slight pilot flex. I raced back to see the poor, lucky bastard lying in a pool of blood right at the end of the structure. The fighters had noticed me now, so no time to heal him up, so I just tractored him on board, closed the ramp, sprinted for the cockpit and floored the throttle. Enemy gunfire absolutely peppering my ship. Oh yeah, that's a cool extraction, dude. You get maximum cool points for that. I can imagine that in my head. All those shots raining down, you're orbiting a planet. It's just epic vibes all over it. We both sighed a huge sigh of relief as we entered Quantum, and I went straight for the Hurston space station. Upon reaching safe space, I healed him up, but he was still too injured to walk. So once in my hangar at the station, I got the medical trolley, lifted him on and wheeled him over to the medical elevator. See, this is the type of gameplay that puts some meat on the bones of Star Citizen. To me, personally, could be different for you. But these warming, wholesome encounters where there's just people going above and beyond to help a guy out for, let's face it, being a bit of an idiot and falling off a space station. Thanks and good night. I was about to log off for the evening and friending each other all round. I sent him down the elevator and as it turned out, straight through the entire station and out the bottom, free falling towards the surface of Hurston. Well shit. All that work for nothing. Of course. F's in the chat. Dude got Star Citizen. Star Citizen giveth, Chris Roberts taketh away. Then a light bulb appeared over my head. I had a plan. I legged it back into the cockpit of my trusty old Lancer, fired her up and asked for takeoff permission. We were still partied up, and I wrenched my ship around the girders and modules and hangars off the station until I had my new friend in view, then punched the afterburner. The plan was as simple as it was stupid. Open the cargo ramp, position my ship in his path of travel, and simply let him gently fall into the cargo hold. Easy, right? Nope. Between the server FPS, network lag, desync and just the Star Citizen-ness of the game, his flight path was anything but predictable. Not only that, I had to exactly match velocity with him in decoupled mode to keep my velocity steady in a gently but steadily thickening atmosphere, causing our relative velocity to constantly diverge. Oh, so he must have got slingshot out of that elevator. At some pace, I would imagine. I guess the effect of the atmosphere properly imposes drag on different objects. Anyway, to top all that off, I had zero visual reference, except for the party member marker that I had to keep at the extreme right or left of my screen at all times. Oh yeah, I see where this is going. We've had to do this quite a few times. This is where Star Citizen turns into a freaking NASA simulator, and there's like a building panic as this guy hurtles towards the ground. I had to keep him at the extreme left or right of my screen at all times, meaning he was behind me. He tried guiding me by chat, but the lag made that almost impossible. I tried using third person view and looked behind, but it was impossible to see him. After a few tries I thought I had him, but he flew past just outside my cockpit. The brown ball of dirt kept on getting bigger and bigger in front of me. Tried again, same results, and what felt like 20 gut-wrenching minutes, and probably at least 10 close misses, he just stopped replying in the chat. Oh no, he's gone. He's gone. We've lost him. He's probably logged off for his tea. Then I couldn't see him anywhere for a few minutes. I looked for him frantically, refusing to let the poor guy plummet to his certain death. After a few more minutes, I was about to give up when I appeared back in the chat. Oh, honestly dude, I'd have killed him. I'd have killed that guy. I would have saved him and then I'd have killed him. Leaving you hanging like that, that's not fair. Sorry, got disconnected. I'm dead and on the surface of Hurston. I thought this was gonna be an epic rescue of undeniable proportions. I love how casually that sentence was delivered there. Just, sorry mate, got disconnected, I'm dead, I'm on the surface of Hurston. Like you might as well have just added, you can have whatever you can find on my body, I'm done for the night. Love Island starts in a couple of minutes anyway. I'm on my way to watch that with the missus. Star Citizen, I hate you and love you so much. The end. That's not how I seen that going, I'm not gonna lie. Predictable though. Quite predictable. Cheers for that story, dude. That was awesome. Excellent story. Another one. Let's do another one. A couple of years ago, I ran a racing group called Kestrel's Suicidal Racing Team. Right, wait. Stop. That's either the best or the worst org name I've ever heard. Like, I'm guessing you guys struggle to get insurance. We did quad racing and shenanigans in equal amounts. Mule sumo wrestling, med gun fights, Nox demolition derbies. If it was dumb and funny, we were doing it. Okay, mule sumo wrestling is getting stolen, dude. That is going straight to my games master. That sounds like the best thing ever. We're talking brand new competitive esports mentioned here. Professionalism was never the freaking goal anyway. We smash ships together until somebody dies. Love it. I love it. We had a couple of streamers in attendance for a quad race through the cliffs on Daymar, while a couple of Valks shot at them with miniguns. Really fun, chaotic stuff, just the kind of thing that we liked. At some point, one of the streamers got stream sniped by a notorious org known for that kind of nefarious behaviour. Around the fourth heat, an A2 showed up and dropped a bomb. All hell broke loose. Well, that escalated quickly. First you were dodging miniguns, and then you were dodging tactical nuclear weapons. This is why we can't have nice things. I usually fly a Razor and watch the races, so I turned to try and do what I could. I ended up shooting a bomb out of the sky about 300 meters above the surface, which also blew up everyone around it. Ah, no way, that is the best. That's the best possible outcome. Quads are flying around, everyone's screaming and laughing. Me and my second in command are yelling, "The race is still on!" And just like the psychopaths that they are, they continued. I'm fighting for my life through tears of laughter. Parts of everything are flying around. Just complete chaos. Eventually, another well-known org for PvP shows up and runs them off. Which was bittersweet, to be honest. The moral of the story, you can't out-mayhem us. Yeah, this is peak insanity. The purest form of sandbox gaming. Having a mental race, bad guys show up, try and ruin everything. You shoot a bomb out of the air, blowing half of that stuff up. Chaos ensues, or more chaos, and then the cavalry arrives and scares them off. It's a beautiful story, dude. It's just a beautiful story. You can't out-mayhem us. If this org had a badge thing, like a military insignia, that should be on it. You can't out-mayhem us, fuckers. And along the bottom should be, we are not responsible for medical expenses. Beautiful story, dude. Thanks for sending this in. Absolutely epic stuff. Mining has been at the heart of my Star Citizen experience since I signed up, and today I was going to share that joy and passion with a new friend who had never stepped foot into it at all. After scheduling conflicts and delays, we finally found a time to get out there in my beloved mole. A ship I know inside and out and backwards. Something I could teach with, something I could allow them to get hands-on with. Over the course of the next several hours, we broke anything and everything we could find, from small aluminium rocks to large stellaron rocks, teaching how to feather the laser power, how to use active modules, and how to plant mining gadgets. Yeah, it's actually quite a lot to go over with a new player. 2 adults managing to line up schedules is like a rare solar eclipse or something at this point. Finally, after a couple of hours, we found it. Quantanium. Oh, the joy of seeing those red letters appear on my mining HUD. This rock was huge. This was going to take some time. We put his teachings to the test. Sabir? Check. Lasers in optimal range? Check. Epic music? Check. Time to put laser to rock. We worked and feathered our lasers in tandem, watching the progress slowly rise into the optimal break range, and put training into practice. We worked at it a couple of minutes, making sure that we don't overcharge or accidentally activate a module. This was it. The moment we worked towards a clean break. Now, this is where my training failed. We had previously been working independently after the initial break, working on collecting and sub-breaks. Well, I forgot to mention that Quantanium is volatile, that there's a timer. My friend, who was excited for this new experience, did what we had always done and started collecting before we were finished with the sub-breaks. No matter, the timer is long enough, right? This is turning out to be not a rookie error story. It is turning out to be a veteran overconfidence story, it would seem. We worked and worked, picking up the pace. Finally, after about 15 minutes and a few active modules later, we had collected our prize, and it was off to the refinery. Being on Bloom, it's quite a journey to the refinery, with an acceptable refinery yield. We will have time left over, or so I thought. As we were leaving the surface and about to enter lower orbit, that's when it hit us and stopped us dead in our tracks. The view. The sun was just setting beyond a distant cliff, and the clouds were just in the right spot. It seemed like a postcard. The sheer joy we both felt at this moment was only interrupted by the panicked beep of the cargo timer. We quickly realigned and made a dash to checkmate, only to be 30 seconds shy of storing the ship. Bloom. Planet I have been to 100 times over the course of my time in the verse. How your beauty in this moment was distractful enough to cost me a whole payload. But in that loss, we gained a memory and a feeling that was worth more than any refinery order. True words. I have a similar story to that actually. A couple of years back, it was the start of a new patch, and I decided to move all of my stuff from Orison off to one of the stations. And it was before, physicalized inventory and stuff, so you could just pile everything into your ship virtually, and it would store it all. And I put it all inside a 400i, and I left Orison, and as I climbed, I went, oh, look at that, that's really lovely, and this 400i with that sun and those clouds and stuff. I'm going to grab a quick screenshot. 5 minutes later, I had completely forgotten what my mission was, and I was just, getting screenshots and footage and stuff like that. I was off on one, basically. 30k. Everything. Gone. Everything that I owned. Every single thing that I owned. And I was like halfway through making, I think it was a machinima at the time, and I needed specific paints for the ships for continuity and stuff like that. Oh, it was a fucking nightmare. Absolute nightmare. I was gutted, dude. So gutted. And the thing is, when it happened, you know, it just popped up on the screen and I went, oh, 30k. You know, like, that's no problem. And then I remembered, wait. And then the panic set in. Oh, nah. Nah. Horror story, bro. That's a horror. That's my Star Citizen trauma. Anyway, that's enough for today. Let's treat this one as a test. Let me know what you think. Would you like it to be longer? Would you like it to be shorter? How can we improve this formula? Remember and send me your stories. Remember and share this so that we can gather other people's stories. I think going forward, if you specifically say to me it's okay to share my name, I'll say your name and credit you for the story. But if you don't specifically mention that, it will just be anonymous. It's quite hard to see any harm coming from it, but you never know. But yeah, that was the first episode of Star Stories. I hope you enjoyed it. Well, 7 guys.